What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the Sanity Fitness Taking You to the Next Level podcast. I'm your host, Cedric, and today we're going to be talking about protein. Now, in this podcast, I'm going to be talking about how much you really need, some of the benefits, and a few other fun facts about it because it's really important. Like, in my eyes, whenever I'm training any clients and anything that I do with myself or my own nutrition, it always comes down to protein is the most important macronutrient. The way that macronutrients work is basically they're a form of energy, right? But protein plays a lot more different roles. And I'm not saying the other macronutrients don't play big roles as well, but protein is where you're going to see a lot more of your results when you focus on getting that right, as opposed to focusing on some of the other stuff, right? Now, it's really important to understand that there's more benefits than just to build muscle when it comes to protein. First of all, I'm not going to go into all of the benefits. There's a million different functions. Well, maybe not a million, but there's a ton of different functions that protein has in your body that contribute towards having good health, right? But I'm going to be talking about it more in relation to, yes, muscle recovery, but also into the benefits when it comes to trying to lose weight, right? Now, one of the biggest benefits of having enough protein is going to be that it's more satiating. It's one of the more satiating macronutrients, which is going to help you to keep you from overeating, overindulging in certain foods. Now, this is something that's really important if you are cutting weight. If you're trying to lose weight, you're going to be in a calorie deficit. And in most cases, you're going to be hungry for most of the time. And this is something that's completely normal. But if you have enough protein, it's really going to help you to keep a fuller stomach, right? One example that I like to use for how you can notice this is when you eat certain types of foods, right? Have you ever noticed that if you're eating something like French fries or pizza, like you could eat an entire pizza without even thinking twice about it. You might feel full, but you could eat an entire pizza, probably 1,500 calories or more, probably 2,000 calories even, depending on where you're getting it from. You could do that. It's possible. But have you ever tried to eat 2,000 calories worth of chicken all in one sitting? It's not very easy. Same thing with eggs. It's very hard. You get sick of it. And the reason for that is because you get full a lot quicker, right? It registers to your brain a lot quicker that you've had enough food. So by increasing your protein intake, you're going to be full more often, which really helps you when you're trying to eat for a certain goal, a certain purpose, and you're trying to hit a certain target within your calories, right? Because if you're just going to be eating a ton of junk food, like I said, you could eat like 2,000 calories worth of pizza for breakfast, and you could eat 1,500 calories worth of poutine for lunch, and that would be very doable for you. You wouldn't feel sick to your stomach. Well, you'd get pretty sick, but it'd be possible for you. And if you really love those foods, then you can keep on doing that without being told to stop by your brain, basically, right? But with protein, it's a little bit different. It really helps you to just stay full, not just physically, really, but like I was saying with mentally, it's a lot harder for you to actually eat more food and force down all that protein, right? So it's really going to be helpful if you are trying to lose weight. Another benefit, of course, I'm sure a lot of you guys already know this, is going to be in the recovery process. I've talked about this before. The recovery process for muscles, like the three ingredients when it comes to your muscle, is going to be energy, water, and protein. I'm not going to dive too deep into the science there, but protein is one of the building blocks for your muscle, right? So it's going to be super important that you get the right quantity to make sure that you recover for this. And I'm guessing that that's actually what you guys are mostly going to be here for, is you want to know exactly how much protein, or how much I think you guys should be getting for protein, because I'm sure you've heard a lot of different numbers out there. I'm probably not the first channel you guys came on. You've probably researched this before a little bit, but throughout all of those numbers, basically, for how much protein you should be getting, it really varies, right? It varies based on your goals and what it is that you need to be doing. But before I give you guys that number, the last benefit that I want to talk about here that you can really get from protein is that it boosts your metabolism. So protein takes energy to digest, just like any other macronutrients, any kind of foods that you're having, it takes energy for you to digest it. Every single thing that you do requires energy, right? And that energy is what we refer to as calories. So when you're eating certain foods, you're burning a certain amount of calories. Protein has the highest thermogenic effect, meaning that your body needs to heat up and it needs to go through all these different processes for you to actually metabolize the protein. So as a result of eating more protein, you're going to see that your metabolism goes higher. Now, it's not going to be a huge difference. You're not going to eat a ton of protein and just see a bunch of weight loss randomly, but it's going to help to boost your metabolism, which is just one of those little details that can help you in the long run, not just with burning more calories, but also with using the nutrients that you're using a little bit better, right? Your body is just going to be functioning like a little bit better with all of the different processes, right? Now, as I was saying, we're going to be talking about how much protein you actually need. And like I said, it really depends on your goal. More so just to be more specific, not so much just the goal, but what it is that you're doing specifically. So like your goal could be to lose weight, and so you're in a calorie deficit. So you're going to need a different amount of protein if your goal is to lose weight and to be in a calorie deficit than if you are trying to build muscle, if you're bulking and you're looking for strength gains, right? So the general recommendation for how much protein you should be getting is basically 0.5 to 1 gram per lean pound of body weight. But that's a very hard calculation to get. Like lean mass, it's a lot of the different ways that we're going to track those aren't super accurate, right? Unless you like go get checked by a doctor, and there's like different machines. I don't know what they're called right now, but there's different types of equipment to do more and more accurate analyses of your body to see your body composition, but you don't need to worry about that. Just keep it simple. Just go 0.5 to 1 gram per pound of body weight in general. So if you weigh 160 pounds, then that's 80 to 160 grams of protein per day, right? Keep it simple that way. That's one of the very important things. Now, which end of the spectrum do you need to be on based on your goals? That's the real question. And a lot of times this surprises a lot of people. People think when they're bulking and they're trying to put on muscle, they're going to need to be eating more protein. But actually, that's when you can actually slack off on the protein a little bit. Now, I'm not telling you to slack off. It's not going to be more beneficial to do this, but you don't need as much protein when you're bulking. Now, the reason for that is because when you're trying to put on muscle, when you're bulking, you're going to typically be eating more food, more energy than you need so that you can put on more weight, right? Now, in that extra energy that you're eating, luckily, protein or carbs and fats have a protein sparing effect, right? So you're going to be eating more food in general. And those calories are going to be coming from carbs, fats, and protein. But by eating more, your body is actually going to be using the other macronutrients first for energy instead of protein. Whereas if you're doing a cutting phase and you're trying to lose some weight, you're going to be in a deficit, right? So your body is going to be using energy from wherever it can. So typically it'll still be carbs and fats first, but if your body needs some energy, it's going to be also using a little bit of protein for you so that you can recover better and just have the energy to go throughout your day, right? But when you're bulking, you have an excess of energy. So your body is going to spare that protein and use that protein for you so that you can recover in your muscles. So you actually need a little bit less. But if you're in a cutting phase, this is where you want to basically max out on your protein a little bit more, go more towards that 1 gram of protein per pound of body weight. That doesn't mean that you need to be perfect every single day. You don't need to have like fully 1 gram. If you're at 0.8, 0.9, whatever, per pound of body weight, then that's okay too, right? But you do want to tend to eat more protein when you're cutting than when you're bulking. And again, this connects to also, it's more satiating, right? So by eating more protein when you're cutting, not only is it going to help you to retain muscle, but it's also going to help you to stay full so that you're less likely to binge eat later on just because you went on too aggressive of a cut earlier, which you shouldn't be doing in the first place. You shouldn't be going on an aggressive cut. But if you happen to just be on a cut, like a deficit of like 500 calories a day, you're likely to be feeling hungry. So eating more protein is going to help to keep you full. I want to share a bit of a experience that I had when I first started. This was a very long time ago, and I was trying to cut weight. I just wanted to see my abs, and I was already pretty thin, so it wasn't something that I should have been doing. And I definitely went about this super wrong. But the reason that I want to share it with you is because it was an extreme case, an extreme example of how well protein can actually keep you full. So the first time that I did this crazy cut looking for my abs, what I actually did was I basically lived off of protein bars and protein shakes. Now, a big part of it is obviously mental as well, just telling yourself, like really paying attention to your hunger levels, like different cues in your body and your mind and all that. But what I did was I had like 2 protein bars per day that I would have, and then a protein shake, and then a bit of vegetables, but it was very light. I would eat like almost no food. And the way that it was possible for me was that basically as soon as I got hungry, I would eat a little bit of a protein bar, eat a little bit of a protein, or have a bit of a protein shake. I wouldn't even finish a protein bar in one sitting. I would just eat enough and eat it slowly and give my body time to realize that I gave it a little bit of energy just to keep me full. And that's what protein can do for you, is it can help keep you full. Now, 100%, I'm telling you guys, do not do what I did. No matter how much weight you have to lose, no matter how quickly you want to lose it, that is not healthy. That is not right. I'm just sharing it with you because it really goes to show how much protein can help to keep you full and how it can lead to more weight loss if you're increasing it, right? Obviously, I was not even having enough protein as well, but because I focused on having the protein as my main macronutrient, that helped to keep me full. If I tried to do the same thing of just eating like a piece of broccoli a day, it would have been a lot harder, probably not possible, and I would have dwindled away even quicker, right? So that's just to show, like, when you're in a weight loss phase, just increase the protein, go more towards that 1 gram. You could even have more if you want to. It's not going to hurt you as long as you stay in your calorie deficit or your caloric surplus. The other factors that go into weight loss and weight gain, then it's not going to matter too much how much you have. What's really important is just getting enough of it, right? But if you go over in your protein, just like I tell my clients, if you go over in protein, it's not a big deal. It's actually going to be a little bit better for you, but it's not a big deal, right? As long as you're within your calorie range that you need to be in. So once you get that down, like, where was I going with this? Yeah, once you get that down and you realize exactly how much you need to get, so it's going to be a 0.5 to 1. It's really going to be important that you don't make it too complicated. A lot of times people are going to, like I just said, you could go over, right? But there's going to be a certain point where you see there's going to be basically a loss of, or what's the term I'm looking for? Like diminishing returns, right? You're going to lose some of the benefits. Like, it's not just going to be the more protein you have, the better benefits you're going to get. You are going to get some, but it's going to be smaller and smaller once you reach that 1 gram per pound of body weight. You don't need that much protein, that much more protein after that. You can get it, and you are going to see like technically little differences in your body and the way that your body reacts, but you don't actually need to go crazy on it. You could go up to 2 grams, that's fine. But what's really important is that you get an amount that's sustainable for you, also an amount that you're not going to be shitting half of it away every single day, because if you do eat too much protein, your body isn't going to digest all of it. It's going to just get rid of it. With that, it does all come down to an adaptation process. So, I mean, if you do have more protein than you can use, over time, your body is going to adapt and learn to metabolize it a little bit better, which is going to help you just with increasing your protein intake, right? So it is something you can adapt to, but you don't need to force feed yourself protein. That 0.5 to 1 gram per pound of body weight is something that's usually very achievable as long as you break it down throughout the day. But keep it simple, right? Make it attainable. Don't push yourself to eat, don't force feed yourself protein just because you heard it's like the macronutrient that you need in order to build muscle. You don't need that much. But with that being said, like I said, you can have as much as you want to. If your diet is typically like a ton of meat and you happen to have more than 1 gram per pound of body weight, that's not going to hurt you. That's going to be more beneficial a little bit, right? Like I said, diminishing returns. Now, another topic when it comes to protein that's really important to talk about is supplementation. So people always want to know, should I get a protein supplement? When should I have it? Like, is it going to be better to get it from meat or like other sources? And the answer to that is you do want to get it mostly from food. Now, the reason that you want to get most of your protein from actual food isn't just because it's some kind of better protein than protein shakes, right? The reason that you want to get it mostly from food is because there's other nutrients in foods that you need to eat as well. You need to have like different vitamins, like vitamin B12 that you can get from like steak, like different, even the healthy fats that you get from meats is going to be beneficial for you. Different minerals as well. If you're a plant-based eater, I don't know too much about being vegetarian and how like people get most of their protein. Usually they do supplement a lot more. Like if you're vegetarian, you'll typically use supplements to help you hit your goals. But without getting too deep into that, you do need to get a lot of your protein from actual foods so that you can get all of the other nutrients that are going to be important for you. All right. So with that being said, there's nothing wrong with supplementing. You can add supplements, but just like the word says, it's a supplement, right? You're supplementing your diet. It's not a meal replacement. It's something to help you to hit your targets if you can't do it with a normal diet. But before you go and look at like at the start, when you're working on your diet, maybe you start off with a little bit more protein shakes than normal, but you want to work towards eating more and more food. So if you're starting out and you know you're not getting enough protein and you're not used to eating enough protein, maybe you're having like 50 grams of protein a day, and I've seen that before in like 200-pound individuals eating only 50 grams of protein a day. That is not enough, right? But for me to go and tell you to go and eat chicken, steak, or what, like fish, whatever, 3-4 times a day so that you can hit your protein targets and to have large portions, that's not going to be very realistic. And first of all, I wouldn't jump you all the way to your protein target that you should be having. But in those small increases, we still want to push you a little bit. And it's not going to all come from food necessarily when you're first trying to get there, because protein shakes is going to be less filling and a lot quicker to eat. So it's a lot easier to get it down, right? But we still want to increase your protein intake because you're at a dangerously low amount at 50 grams. And to do that, we're not just going to introduce a ton of food for you. So a good way to do it is introduce a small amount of food, make sure that you're having well-rounded meals, include a protein source in each of your meals, have 3 meals a day or like up to 6 or even more if you need to, depending on how you like to eat. Typically 3 is like the average that we want, or even 4, and have a meal that includes the protein source. So let's say you're having chicken, have enough so that if you need to have 160 grams of protein in a day, you're having 4 meals, then you're going to want to have 40 grams of protein in a meal, right? But if you're having chicken and you're not used to having enough chicken to have 40 grams of protein in that meal, then this is where supplementation comes in. This is where having a protein shake can help. So what you would do is just calculate how much protein you actually got from your meal. Maybe you only got 20 grams, maybe you got 30 grams of protein, and you know you want to hit that 40 grams of protein for that meal, right? So all you would do, look at your protein, adjust the size of your scoop so that you can get enough, and then add that in. Even like if you're just like going by calories and protein and you're not too concerned about going over in protein, then you can have a full scoop. Go over that 40 grams, right? Just make sure that you have enough. Make sure you're getting that 40 grams of protein, but then that's when you want to add in a protein shake. You could add that at the end of your meal just to top up and make sure that you're going to hit your target at the end of the day. So that's basically how you want to use your protein. It's just as a supplement to your diet, basically, not just something to replace meals. And it's not just some magic supplement. Like I see a lot of guys out there that they gotta have their protein shake at the end of their workout because they're in a more anabolic state. They just broke down the muscle and they want to build it up. This is true. You're in the gym and you just broke down the muscles and you want to recover. So protein timing can help a little bit. But what's more important is just going to be making sure you have enough protein by the end of the day and supplementing. Now, me personally, I do also have my protein around my workout. Usually I do intra-workout protein shake. So this is just help keep me full while I'm working out, restore my energy. because I always work more than one muscle group when I'm doing my training sessions. So basically, if I'm doing a chest and back day, I'll do my chest workout, then I'll take a protein shake, just make sure my body has the energy it needs. And then I'll go and do the rest of my workout, right? But you want to think about protein as, like protein shakes specifically, as just something to help you hit your targets. And think of it as like, what's the reason for this? Not just, I'm going to take this protein because somebody told me that I need to have it to be in an anabolic state. And like all these different gym bro reasons. It's more like I have a target and I want to make sure I hit it. Or I feel hungry in the middle of my workout, so I'm going to take something that's more satiating, right? Protein supplement is just a supplement. You don't need to overthink it. You don't need to like overdo it. Like think about, oh, I need to have 3 shakes a day no matter what, because protein is a supplement that makes you buff. It's not like that. Protein is just another macronutrient, and in protein shakes, it's the same thing as what you're getting from meats. You're just missing out on some of the minerals and the vitamins, right? So you want to make sure that you're still eating enough of your natural food protein sources, all right? Anyways, that wraps up everything for this topic on protein. If you have any questions, always feel free to reach out. You can catch me at Sanity Fitness on Instagram. That's where I answer my messages. So thanks so much for listening. If you enjoyed this podcast and learned something, all I'm asking from you is that you share it with your family and your friends so we can spread a healthier life to more people. All right, that's it. That's all. Have an amazing day. Peace.